Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Josh Sean.
Hello.
That's right, Josh Sean.
That's it.
That's it this week. We had guests at one point.
So many guests.
We've tried to get other guests. That's not happening. And Sean was like, well, let's just do a two-man show. And I said, nope. And then so we went.
Which I did take as a,
guests.
I did take as a display of like a lack of faith.
Yeah. Oh, good.
In us.
It came across correctly.
Do
you know what I was going to say to you? Do you know what I was going to say to you, Sean? I was going to say to you at one point, genuinely, yeah, I just don't know about doing a two-man show. I haven't done a two-man show like since midway through Joypod. Then I remembered actually we've done several series of the Calls series, and I can't get away with that. But here we are. This is going to be interesting territory. And do you know what's come to my mind instantly? The listeners know how well this has gone already. If you're listening now, you look down at your podcast player of choice. Look how long's left.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling.
Is it a 60-minute show?
Yeah.
In and out?
Yeah, you're sitting there thinking, what? Oh, it's only downloaded some of the show. But no.
Nope.
You fast forward. It's 20 minutes and it ends in, well, fuck you then, Sean. And then like a noise of something falling over. Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. It's going to be a nice little intimate one. And we'd like to thank our Patreon producers this month. They are the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights are Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Texture like sun. Oh, I put that in. I was at a party at the weekend and they said, whenever you read out Colin Brown's name on the list, Colin Brown, Texture like sun. So I wrote that in there after having a couple of beers in a hope that I would read it out on the show, and there, I've done it. Right, sorry, Colin Brown. You're going to live with that for the rest of your life now, because every time I hear it now, I'm going to think, Colin Brown, Texture like sun, Gasman, Rocketman 76, Grey Dragon Claw, Smooth Monkey, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe As Records, Sam Higton, Jonathan Edwards, Fred Fenge, Tom S, Ryan Cobain, and Josh Hunt, the Full Nels crew. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for supporting the show at patreon.com/TCGS. You can go there and you can look at the tiers and you can pick one of those tiers and you can help support the show. And hey, if you're tight for money and you can't do that, then just tell a friend, man. Just tell a friend.
Go on,
it's like a hippie commune.
piratebay.org. Yeah. Is that still going?
You don't know.
I genuinely don't. I know.
Hey, can you still get those Nintendo ROMs? Can you?
Oh, yeah. If I did want to download them, where would be a good place to? I wonder, has anyone pirated our stuff? I wonder.
Well, it depends what you mean. There was discs floating about, like in the early days, the Joy-Con stuff. I remember.
Bootlegs.
Yeah. Play Radio stuff was there. There was, there was some bootleg stuff. I remember someone sent it in of the Joy-Pod Play Radio UK days, but I've not got a CD player to burn it from now, so it's just a useless bit of plastic in my drawer.
I think I'd just be sort of flattered that anyone would bother. To be honest. I'm not saying steal our shit. I'm just saying.
But Matt Murray's listening to this saying you've just promoted the Patreon and brought up the idea of like pirating it. It's not the best. You wouldn't download a car. Is that true? Did I tell you what I found out recently about those adverts? You wouldn't download a car, right? I think this is true because I looked it up and I can't remember where I heard this. It must have been on a podcast. Mm-hmm. If you told me, I'm going to be really upset now because this is how I
made that up.
Yeah. No, because I'm sure I looked it up and it's true that the company that put that advert together, like boom, 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 dum, dum, you know that music, boom, boom, dum, 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 they stole that music.
Fucking
and they were
hell.
sued for using it without having.
I mean, that
correct...
would not surprise me at
I'm,
all.
I'm almost certain that's true, and I can't remember what pod I heard it on, but it was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, no. So that's please let that be true. Please don't destroy my dreams.
It's definitely in the category of like too funny to research.
It's too
isn't
good, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's too good. But I'm sure I looked it up at the time and I went, no, it is true, brilliant. But then that could have been anything. That's the problem with the internet. I don't believe anything anymore. I need to go on that. What's that show with the guy, the MMA guy, and the
Joe Rogan.
that fella, Joe Rogan. I need to go on his show, don't I? And just go. Oh, what do you think, Joe?
I don't know what's real anymore, Joe. Well, this is what always makes me laugh. I might have mentioned this
crying
before.
in front of Joe.
Like, do you remember Snopes.com?
Sobbing. Yeah, that was my favourite.
Well, again, like that was like early internet days. It was like, oh, it's like this sort of interesting website where there's like urban myths on it, and they sort of research them, and like it's quite interesting, and turns out debunks loads of stuff. And now it's like Snopes.com is like, oh, we're having to fact check the fucking news now. Like that's that's how dark things have got. The fun "Do you eat 8 spiders in your sleep?" Website is now like, right, this is why CNN's full of shit or whatever. Like it's.
I like the ones that you see posted on Facebook, and you can clearly see it's photoshopped. Oh, look what's going on here! But that's clearly fake. What you do?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of only true facts, only real facts, you'll notice that James Farley isn't here.
Well,
this week.
Can I stop you there, Dave? Because I have actually received some correspondence that I've been instructed to read out.
Okay, because he's not even messaged me about this. So
no, I've received a letter dated the 10th of August.
A letter?
Yeah.
Right, Chen wrote it then because he fucking didn't.
I was thinking probably Rachel did, but we'll see. Addressed to David Turner of the Computer Games Show, says
Well, why has he sent it to you? He sent it to the wrong place to start with.
Yeah, he's got that wrong. Cease and desist demand. Dear David Turner, I would like to ask you to stop publishing false statements that are damaging to my reputation.
Can I just say, that's the nicest opening to a cease and desist letter of all time. Read that first sentence again. It's too nice.
Cease and desist demand. Dear David Turner, I would like to ask you to stop publishing false statements that are damaging to my reputation. I love that. Might as well be. Cease and desist. Hi, Dave. How's it going? Could you please... he says, I refer to the introduction of a new segment on the Computer Game Show referred to as, quote, Farley Facts. So far you have stated that I, quote, have a pair of pants that are 10 years old and that I, quote, have a third nipple. None of these facts are indeed facts and constitute an attack on my reputation by providing listeners with a false impression, both my personal life and physical appearance.
Can I just say, what false impression are people getting? Even if they're not true, what false impression are people getting? It's exactly the same. You think of James Farley no differently now after these facts.
No one's opinion of him has changed.
And if you do, maybe you're at fault for changing your opinion just because someone's got a third nipple. What about that?
Have a word with yourselves.
Yeah, look at yourselves.
He says this will serve as your legal notice to cease and desist all further actions described above. You are hereby instructed to comply with this letter immediately or face legal sanctions under applicable law. Please give this very important matter the utmost attention. Sincerely, James Farley. And if you're curious, he's actually put his real address at the top.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you Googled it?
No, he sent it me and he was like, yeah, that's my real address. I don't really know why I did that.
Brilliant. We've got his real address. Well, we know what this week's Farley Facts going to be. James Farley lives at... Oh, how have you not street viewed it yet?
That's a really good one. Yeah, maybe I should.
We need to street view it and slowly describe the area on the pod. Oh, how good would that be? If we was on in the next couple of weeks or whatever, we said, "Oh, James, you know that little shop round the corner with the blue sign and the thing?" Just start slowly just like referencing stuff. Near
or do like a GeoGuessr stream, but they were one of the rounds. I'm just like, "Oh, that's James Farley's house."
Well, look, I don't negotiate with terrorists. so
known
I like
terrorist
to
James Farley.
start this week's show with a Farley fact.
Yep.
That, and this is true. This is genuinely true. I don't know if you've noticed, Sean, but I don't call James Farley James Farlong anymore. Do you remember when I used to do that?
Yeah, I never knew what the origin of
James
that was.
Farlong. It wasn't. It was just a funny way of saying Farley.
Okay,
it wasn't, and also far long. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he got really upset with me once and phoned me after one of the show and said, "Can you stop calling me that?" And I said, "Why?"
Yeah.
And he went, "Well, it's not my name." And I went, "But who cares? It's only a bit of fun." And he went, "Just don't do it anymore." And then he hung up. So that is why I don't call James Farley James Farlong anymore.
Had he been drinking?
Had he been drinking?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I would have said no, but have you seen him recently? By my word, very possibly. So that's this week's Farley Facts. Thanks for living it. Should we get? That's really thrown me. I didn't know that letter was coming in actually, and also the way my brain works, I'm instantly thinking, "Oh, I can't believe I put my address on that. It's not his address. It's not his address. He still lives in Canterbury."
Of course, yeah. You never moved to Germany.
Oh no, I don't know why I put that German address. If you put it into Google, I bet it's just a field.
Yeah,
it's an empty
probably.
field.
Like a castle or something.
Should we get some feedback from last week's show?
Yes.
Sean Bell, your segment of the show is coming up.
Hello. The first bit of feedback comes from Jashields. I don't know if I don't think it's a real name, so I don't think I need to worry about mispronouncing it.
God, that was a lot of internal monologues spilling into the show.
a lot of anxiety this week.
Did I say that out loud?
They say, "Hello chaps, feedback for episode 360 and a lot further back. I'm a new listener of sorts, joined following your Tinykin review, and stumbled into your Tell Me Why and Life is Strange True Colours spoiler casts.
Found myself wild.
Yeah.
That's wild, isn't it?
That's a vector, isn't it?
Because we really went into Tinykin because we had so much respect for that game. So we went deep dive into Tinykin. and then you go, "Oh, I listened to, I've played Life is Strange. Let me listen to this." You're an idiot. You're an idiot. You never get a chocolate crisp. What are you doing? It's a bit of a
It's a weird way to get into the show, but I'm grateful
really
all the same.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, listen to the Tell Me Why and Life is Strange True Colours spoiler cast and found myself laughing and nodding all the way through. I think I need to play the other Life is Strange games just to listen along to yous. Then when Dave said a few weeks back, "fucking maquette," to find the show where you talked about it, and when I did, I found I agreed with everything he's all said. Shitey bollocks about two twats that failed to live up to its premise. So when Dave's like, "Oh, you really need to play Arcade Paradise," I leapt at it and then spent 2 hours doing virtual laundry with nary a Paradise, arcade or not, in sight. What am I doing with my precious minutes left on this hell world? Anyway, a good hit rate on recommendations, slightly ruined by Chores the video game.
Well, just Shields. I mean, I'm sorry I haven't got your exact taste of games down. I mean, this is literally the first I've heard of you, mate.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to know exactly what you want. I don't
it's
know
an
exactly
unreasonable expectation, isn't it?
Oh man, just don't listen to that future unfolding episode. Just avoid that one. At the moment I start talking about that game, just skip that.
That was a strange arc,
it was genuinely fucking brilliant, that game. And it's one of those where I was like, I cannot believe people are raving about this. This is insane. I loved it. I'd play it again. I might do it all again on stream.
Yeah, I was
I
going to say,
love that
stream
game
a lot.
so much.
Yeah.
And I remember the ending. What did you say?
No, so just said stream a lot.
Oh, I thought you said, yeah, of course, because you stream a lot. I was like, all right, Sean, that's a bit harsh. No, I just remember loving that game, and I remember the ending, like putting a lump in my throat. Like, I got really emotional towards the end, and I was like, "This is," because we played it like 2 months before it came out or something.
That's
and
right.
I remember going, "This is amazing," and then Matt ringing me up and going, "Have you finished it?" I was like, "Yeah." It's incredible. And I was like, "Oh no." And then we raved about it, and everyone was like, "This is shit, David. What are you doing? What are you doing?" Yeah, I was really disappointed with it. But anyway, Arcade Paradise is really good. I'm sorry you didn't get past the... You can stop washing.
I was going to say, you need to just get past the chore stuff, right?
Yeah. Although I quite like the chore stuff, so I'm not going to pretend that I didn't.
Okay.
just to keep in with your shields. But thanks for getting in touch, and thanks for letting us know how you found us, because not enough people do that.
No, they don't.
Sean.
And I always find it interesting because it's never just like I was on iTunes and I saw it in the charts and I thought I would listen and I liked it. It's never that.
Well, because we're never in the charts.
Well, yeah, there we are. We're always in the fuck. We're absolutely smashing it, mate.
I know we are.
Fuck you, IGN.
Although I did Google, oh god, I'll tell you where my head's at the moment. I need constant. Well, for starters, Joe's away with a kid, so I've got no affection coming my way at all at the moment, and it's killing me. I need some form of attention.
Yeah, validation.
So I Googled today best British gaming podcasts, and there was a list of the 41 best British gaming podcasts. We're not on there. No. We're not on there, and I was absolutely fuming. Absolutely fuming.
I couldn't name 41 other British gaming podcasts.
Exactly.
Never mind good ones.
Should you? That's Blue Lou in the chat says you were 42nd. We just slipped off the list. Half of them weren't even going anymore. Like number one was like Crate and Crowbar. That's not still a thing, is it?
I've no idea actually.
Is it?
I don't know because
and Big Red Barrel, that's gone as well, isn't it?
Yeah, because a friend of the show, Chris Band's a big Crate and Crowbar guy. But he's not mentioned it for years, so let's assume it's gone.
It's all gone. Should we see? crateandcrowbar.com. We're here, we might as well. Last one was August the 11th, 2023. Oh, I apologise, Crate and Crowbar.
Well, maybe Chris should apologise because he's gone very fucking quiet about it.
Yeah, he's not a fan no more. I'm so sorry. But Crate and Crowbar is still going, and you can listen at crateandcrowbar.com. Does that make up for it? They're gonna get.
We have implied that they've sort of fallen off the map.
Sean is not Sean. Matt is going to be so pissed off. A Big Red Barrel. Let's see if that one's still going. Do you remember any other British gaming podcasts that we haven't spoken about? Big Red Barrel.
Fuck no, I can't.
I remember that one. That was an oldie. Their last one was
yesterday.
Date on it. Host. no.
Hosted by Matt Murray.
Recent episodes. Big Red Barrel podcast 131 May 16th to 2018. Okay, so fine. They're done. Bitsocket's still going, isn't it?
Yeah.
Bitsocket's still going. Game Wank, that's not going anymore. All of these, One Life Left. That's never ends.
Let's not get into that. There. Shall I read out the next bit of feedback?
They're still getting nominated for GMAs, even though that fucking thing doesn't exist anymore. Do you know what I thought of the other day? You eating the sausage at the GMA and that photo. Because your face was like, it was so funny. Right, okay, this is the callback episode.
Oh, do you remember this thing? Half the audience going, no, I don't. Why would?
Two things. Number one, right, with references stuff that hasn't happened since like 2005. Yep. Number two, Matt Murray's sitting there now just going, they're trying to drag it out. They have a go at me for that. They're trying to drag it out.
Yeah, he's having a go at me, and as soon as I go, oh look, what's happening?
Okay, next.
Adam C says Ubisoft has an average career score of 69 on Metacritic, whereas Respawn has an average career score of 80. So I don't think I'd be that worried if I were James. Respawn is quality above quantity, whereas Ubisoft has been flooding the gaming space with mediocrity for decades. I mean, that's a harsh way of putting it, but
I don't know how legit this is. Have you picked up on what this is weird? Why this is weird?
Oh no, why is it weird?
I'll let it. I don't want to spell it out.
Okay.
But there's something about this. Well, for starters, we didn't say nice at the Metacritic score that Ubisoft's average is.
No.
I genuinely don't think that's a thing. For starters, Ubisoft, if you're saying the average score for an Ubisoft game is 69, whereas Respawn, it's an 80, Ubisoft have released quite a few more games than Respawn. So I'm not sure that's a fair comparison. But I don't know. There's part of me that's thinking this Star Wars game is going to be fucking incredible. Like,
it does look really
seen
good
from it like visually it looks incredible, and that's the first thing, right? Yeah. And we know that some reviewers are like, it looks good. That's an extra 2 points on that. Mm-hmm. It looks incredible. Everyone's itching for the first next gen game, other than all right, Horizon Forbidden West looked really good.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone's waiting for that game where people go, fuck me.
Mm.
This is like next level.
Mm.
And I don't know, man. There's some stuff in those demos that is blowing my mind a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it'd be quite funny to see, Mac. Who would you prefer to win? What's better for the show first, rather than your personal preference?
I feel what's better for the show?
Yeah, I think it's James.
Yeah, James getting a
Him
tattoo
getting a
is
tattoo.
infinitely funnier.
I think it is infinitely funnier, and also
Because-
Matt's due a win, right? He is
Yeah.
due a win.
And I think
'Cause I don't think
because
he's ever
Matt
won anything.
is like, I know Matt's sort of getting cold feet, but I think broadly speaking, he's more up for doing silly things for a
No,
joke.
see, because I
than
think
James.
but I think James,
Hmm.
I think James is more comfortable with getting a tattoo than Matt is.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I do, because Matt will worry about it, whereas James is like, it's on my back, I'm never going to see it, I don't care. Like, I really think he thinks
That's
like
true.
that. Like, it's not
Yeah.
a problem for him whatsoever.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Matt's going to be like, oh, but it's not the, the Japanese symbol that I wanted or whatever he's getting. Do you know what I mean? I don't
He needs
know.
to get out in front. He needs to get his first tattoo before any
He
of this
does.
comes
He
to
does.
fruition.
This is like a deadline
Yeah.
for him, right?
Yeah.
I cannot wait for the episode where they face off to try and negotiate what tattoo to get. I
And,
did
I
say as
don't
well,
know if-
listeners,
Go
I
on.
did say, and I promise you this, right? This is a guarantee. We will do that on the main show. We're not going to do that. The bet was on the main show. The reveal's going to be on the main show. We will have the negotiation on the main show. So we are not going to put that behind a paywall. You're welcome.
I'm also
You're welcome for that.
whoever wins, I'm going to do a short film of them getting a tattoo done because it's going to be amazing. I mean,
Do you
there'll be
reckon
an
they'll get turned down by anywhere.
You also what?
do you
Just
reckon
a bit too silly.
Like, because it's morally wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not tattooing something that someone's done for you for a joke. I'm not doing it. It's against my policy. Do
It's
you reckon we'll
possible.
have trouble?
It is possible. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
We'll see.
then we'll say, well, you're missing out on an audience, aren't you? Aren't you?
We could do great things for you.
Also, I want to make it clear that it would be very easy for us to contact like the tattooist or whatever and say, give them a temporary one, right? Like, we're not actually going to go through with it. Give them a
I don't
temporary
think it works
one.
like that. I don't think you can just get one of those wet ones and just get a little pen and
You get a sponge on it and go, no, it's the needle. The needle feels like a sponge.
yeah, it takes 3 hours. Yeah.
No, it actually takes 30 seconds, otherwise it disintegrates. No, you got henna tattoos. You can get henna tattoos, can't you?
Yeah, you can get. Yeah,
That's
I don't know
alright.
how they work though.
Aren't they done with like a special paint and a? I'm sure have I had a henna tattoo? I doubt it. They were all the rage back in the day.
Seems like something you would remember. Did you just draw on yourself with a biro and then
I
go,
thought
look?
I might have done that. Yeah, that might have been it. I think personally, I kind of want James to get the tattoo, but not in a nasty way towards James, in a more sympathetic way towards Matt, because I think Matt will really struggle with it and James just won't. Someone's just said get
Games Animal Dave Perry's
the
to do it.
Games Animal Perry.
Shit.
No, not to do it. Just get his like logo. God, this is weird, isn't it? We get to talk about Matt and James while they're not.
Yeah, well, they're not here and they can't defend themselves.
Okay.
I mean,
It's like our personal WhatsApp messages. But in
I was going to say,
like in real life.
can you just talk about the games crowd are going to be fuming this week?
Yeah, don't listen. Also, I've barely played anything this week. Go on.
Cool. Ben says, all right, lads. Someone mentioned the warranty on an Xbox controller. I think it was John. He said it was a year, but my pad died within a year. And when I contacted Microsoft, they confirmed the warranty on the pad is for 8 months only. Microsoft also we'll get to that. Microsoft also does not offer repairs, and the best they could do was offer me one that was on sale on their store. That was actually more expensive than just buying one from Amazon. I was soured by the support and went with an 8-bit-do Ultimate controller instead. The features on this pad, including Hall Effect sticks, sold me in a few months of use. I'm chuffed with it. I'm based in Oregon. Oregon? It's Oregon, isn't it? I don't know why I said it like it's a shape.
Oh,
Oregon.
okay.
By way of London, big up the Finchley crew. So I'm not sure of warranty differences by region. I won't be buying an Xbox pad until they change this. Love you, Ben. Yeah.
That's gotta be right. I'm sure it's a year on all
in the UK it is.
In the UK.
UK and EU, I think pretty much everything has to have like a year's warranty in it. But in America, there's no protection on that.
Really?
Because I'm sure I heard. Yeah, because I'm sure I heard once that like even you buy like a console and they only have to offer you like 3 months warranty or something.
That's mental.
Yeah, really shocking.
So like also in the UK, beyond the warranty, you've got consumer rights. And if you can prove that the life of your controller, your expected life of controller is over a year, you can still go back to where you bought it from and get it replaced there. There's just not many people do that because that's pretty mad. Like, I mean, you've got like I bought this 3 years ago and I was expecting it to last 3.5 years. You know, it's you might get a little bit of kickback on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you've got your Look into that. Look into all that. The fine print. Yeah. But that's mad. If you can't do that in America.
How in America, Dave.
How's that fair?
Too busy surfing. And
skateboarding, telling people to not have a cow.
Just don't do it, guys. Whatever you do, do not
don't have that cow.
Don't do it.
Do not have it. Please do eat some shorts though. Sorry.
But yeah, basically, Ben, what we're saying is you got to come back to bloody London, mate.
Where everybody knows your name.
Yep. And you can get a free Xbox pad. The last bit of feedback comes from the Muffin Man. He just says, "Hello, lads."
Muffin Man?
Yeah. Do you know him?
Okay, that's the worst response to that ever. There's people. You completely broke what the thing was. Sean.
I thought we were trying to do...
It's Sean. You know the thing, right?
Yeah, I know the thing. I just thought it'd be funny to do. Try and do it in like a natural way.
Right, but you just broke like 90% of people's brains then, because you hear that the Muffin Man and you know what's coming next. Yeah, do you know him? Right, so that's the clip I'm going to use on TikTok this week. Do you know what was really funny? Was I watched Shrek 1 with the boys last week.
Oh, yeah.
They'd never seen it because Charlie was like... I never watched it with Harry for some reason, but Charlie was scared of Shrek when he first watched it as a kid, right? So he wouldn't watch it. Yeah. Now he's a little bit older. We tried again, and he was into it, right? And he loved it. But when it got to that bit, have you heard the Muffin Man? You know, the Muffin Man. When it got to that bit, Harry was like, he looked at me. He was like, "What the fuck? What? But this is old. How is this in this?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Where do you think it cut off?" To sit down, listen, man. And I'll tell you something. This is probably a controversial opinion. Oh my God, the people that want us to talk about games. I remember watching it going, there's this bit in Shrek that's really good. And then getting to the end and going, oh no, all the bits that I was saying were really good is actually in Shrek 2. We have to watch that at some point. Not watching Shrek the Third. Should we get on with the show?
I've never seen a Shrek.
You've never seen a Shrek?
Never seen a Shrek.
What do you think it's about?
He is an ogre. I know that. Yeah. I guess he makes friends. Does he fancies a princess? Is she human at first and then turns into an ogre, or was she? I don't know.
But do you not know the world it's set in?
No.
Like everything's fairy tales. Everything. Right. Why am I telling you Shrek? Sorry, someone's put Shrek calls in the chat.
Let's go.
Right, okay.
Should I just put Shrek on now and we'll just live stream it and commentate over it?
We're never going to be allowed to do this again, Sean.
No, we're not. I'm going to ban us. So the Muffin Man says,
the Muffin Man say? Yeah.
"Hello, lads. Just thought I'd write in."
Sorry, God.
I knew he did it again just to
no.
Just to upset people. "Just thought I'd write in to tell you that me and my mates down at Drury Lane think you're doing a bang-up job. We enjoy gathering round the old Bluetooth speaker and listening to your top bants as we make our zucchini muffins. Don't change a thing. I think you might change that last sentence after hearing this episode, the Muffin Man.
Oh, God. Don't change a thing other than don't ever let those two do it on their own again.
Other than everything you're doing now.
Could you imagine if we had our guests on? They just sat there.
I'm glad none of them could make it.
Well, this is going on. Is this like this every week? Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah.
Do you think there's just the image of gathering around a Bluetooth speaker to listen to this podcast? Do you think anyone does that?
What's the image you got in your head?
Just like I don't know if it's like a workplace or
inside or outside. What are you thinking?
Inside.
On
like a workshop
table.
or something.
Yeah, that's sort of what I think. Like those old school wooden tables that you'd see in like lodges. With those with the same type of wood, like that's been like chipped away at as a chair, and everyone's sitting there by candlelight, but for some reason have got Bluetooth speakers. Do you reckon they ever do that? No, I don't think anyone's ever done that. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've been in a car and someone's put a podcast in. I fucking hate it.
Because
you're like, this is your world. This isn't my world.
Yeah, and you feel like you can't talk because you're interrupting. It's not like you've just got music on. You just talk over it.
No, listen to this bit. Okay, right. Fucking hell.
We've like occasionally, if we're on like a really long drive, and like we've chatted for like the first hour, 90 minutes, whatever.
Yeah.
I might just be like, should I just stick like, I'll stick like an hour long pod, like say the journey's like 4 hours, right? Like, right, we talked for an hour. Should I put an hour long podcast on and then we'll carry on talking for the rest? Like, but it has to be like an agreed upon thing, right? It can't
with
just be
who?
like.
Who are you having that conversation with?
Usually, like with New or whatever.
Joe would just go, no. I'm not listening to, like, no.
It has to be something that like I know she likes or I think she really would. Like I would never just put on something that's only of interest to me.
Just episodes of TCGS. With the I put a headphone in sometimes because Joe always falls asleep in the car, so I'll just put a headphone in and listen to. I don't. That's not. Is that legal? I don't think it is. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, it might not be legal.
I'll just grass myself up.
Yeah.
Just I always only wear a single headphone, so that's all right, isn't it? Near half of the.
Probably get some of those bone conductive ones so you can still hear everything around you.
Those. Do you know the first time I experienced those in lollipops?
In lollipops.
Did you ever see them when they come out? Yeah, like Chupa Chups.
Oh, and you could bit it.
You held your teeth on the lolly and you pressed the button, and like a Rugrats voice was in your head.
Yeah, I had
saw them in an airport.
You know Mogwai, the band. They as a piece of merch, they sold like a little music box. You turn the thing and it would play the tune from one of the songs.
Oh yeah.
Not that many songs have much of a fucking tune, but you know.
I've shown them.
Can't fucking dance to it, can you?
Yeah, I've got a Queens and Stone Age one.
Oh, nice. Well, have you ever put that between your teeth and then done it? It sounds incredible.
Sean.
It's amazing. Do it. It's amazing.
I'm not doing that.
Well, you have to do it on air, but do it later.
Do it at home. Yeah, I'm not doing that, Sean. I'm not eating music boxes.
You don't have to eat it. Just place
what
it.
What if you sort of like
teeth.
suddenly swallow it, and then when you're jiggling around, you're hearing that creepy. Dun, 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 dun,
and then you go into A&E, and the doctor's like, "Were you talking to Sean Bell?"
I told him. I keep it's an epidemic. Is it an epidemic when that happens a lot? I think so.
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Okay, right.
I feel like by now we should have all learned the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic because we've had one of them.
I think by now we should be talking about video games, Sean. How about that?
No. All right.
Should we get on to the...
Do you want to do the news?
Please, do the news.
If you want to leave us feedback, go to TCGS.
This episode?
I mean, we're definitely getting some feedback after this.
What are we going to call it? Who's doing the artwork? What's that going to look like?
The artwork? Do we have to do artwork?
Well, Matt does it, doesn't he? Again, this is another thing that our listeners would have seen by now.
We haven't actually asked Matt if he's able to upload the show and stuff. I've assumed I'll do the edit, but
do the edit. I reckon you say you do the artwork, but the artwork is just white background, black text, TCG episode, whatever. Yeah. Or no, what you do is you write it on a piece of paper, then take a photo of it with your phone and tweet that with the thing. And yeah, I don't know about uploading it. Matt will help us with that.
That'd be fine. We'll sort it out.
Yeah.
The first news item is that Forza Motorsport is not going to have split screen play at launch due to, quote, heavy investment in graphics. What is also a shame, though, I mean, that was the headline. But also there's some other stuff that isn't going to be in it at launch. So are you aware of this featured multiplayer thing?
No.
I mean, this may have been a thing in other Forzas. I've just not been aware.
Okay.
But it's basically per Eurogamer. So it says it's a new mode. There we go. I probably should have picked up on that and not asked you if it was in the other games.
That's okay. You corrected yourself. I'm all about that. So
it's
you
a new
hold
mode.
Your hands up and say
it's a new mode. New mode which aims to recreate a race weekend experience. So races, basically there'll be a series of races that take place at specific times, which sounds cool, but I've got children, Dave, and so have you, so we're not going to do this.
When it says recreate a weekend racing experience, it means someone cooler comes into the front room and puts the football on. Is that how it works? Come on. Come on,
But you're not going to be able to spectate in those matches. And you're not going to be able to race with AI either, apparently. Which, I mean, whatever. But I feel like the spectating thing seems odd.
What do you mean?
Well, because if the whole point is you're recreating this like race weekend thing, what if you just want to watch some of it? Or is that weird?
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of games like that where you can't do that. You know, that is something we've spoken about a lot with FIFA because we play a lot of pro clubs. It kills us when, like, 4 of you turn up for pro clubs. You start playing, 10 minutes into the game, someone else turns up, and they've just got to wait in the lobby. And I'm just thinking, wouldn't it be wicked if they could just join and watch us? Yeah. You know, and cheer us on from the sidelines. But they can't do that. And I think that's kind of... it would be crazy if you could just, like, watch... You spectate your friends do that, I guess. But I don't know. Okay.
On live, mate. Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah, that's where it was at. That's where it was at.
That is where it was at. But yeah, I mean, the split screen thing, not a huge surprise. Has Forza ever... When did it last have split screen? I've only played the Horizon games, so I never expected it. And I never expected it to have split screen.
You would expect that the last game did, based on this news story.
I guess so.
That.
Be weird to...
I do think it sucks. I do think it sucks because I had fond memories as a kid playing racing games with my brother, like serious racing games, like in split screen and stuff. However, I just don't know if that's still a thing. I would imagine that it is. But I can't guarantee that. I don't know if that actually happens. The weird thing is that Harry and Charlie are such a big age gap, you know, it's 5 years between them, that when it comes to multiplayer gaming, they are not playing split screen games against each other because that would end in an argument 100% of the time. So that's not a thing. But you would imagine that this is gonna... It's just one of those things. How much effort can they put into something that's only going to be used by like 0.1% of their audience? You know?
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, they know how many people use this sort of functionality typically, and it's like this is always. I know, like, you know, we talked about the stuff with Baldur's Gate 3 and the Series S and stuff. Like, basically, Larian Studios have said that, you know, the Series S can't handle the split screen play that the game has, and that's why it's not coming out on the Xbox yet. But but obviously on the one hand you can say, well, fucking GoldenEye had split screen play, but it's like split screen play has always been a pain in the arse because having to view any 3D space from more than one viewpoint completely undoes loads of like clever optimization stuff. Right? So it's always been difficult. But it's I don't know. Neither of us are equipped to comment on whether or not it's any harder now than it used to be, I suppose. And you do wonder, is it like, how much of this is like, you can have split screen play, but it's going to look much worse, and we don't want footage getting thrown around at launch of it looking worse and running badly.
Sure. No, I don't. I'm not so sure about that because you know, take Mario Kart for an example. That is a game that significantly takes a nosedive when you're playing more than 2 players. You know, it drops down to 30 frames. It doesn't look like resolution drops down, obviously. But I think those playing split screen on not worrying about how amazing it looks. You know what I mean?
That's true, because they're already sacrificing half the pixels to someone else.
Screen, I just think maybe it is really way more trouble than it's worth when they look at how many people actually use that feature. It's like, why are we piling development into getting this running when it's going to have a real small impact?
Yeah, it's weird because like I'll get onto it in a bit. With Baldur's Gate, like I do know quite a few people who are co-oping it with someone in the same room. Statistically, I don't know how significant that is, but anecdotally, like I know people who are using that.
Right.
It does sound like really good fun as well, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, in the case of Forza,
we saw a video to, again, it's pro clubs, it's FIFA. But we saw a video of a pro clubs team all playing in the same room together on tons of tellies and loads, and I was like, oh my god, we have to do that at some point. That has to be done at some point. It's just too good. One day.
One day.
Okay, shame. No split screen. Forza.
No split screen.
Out.
Rockstar. They make the old Grand Theft Auto. They've hired a team of modders who they're called CFX.re, and they run a bunch of mods with regard to like role-playing servers for GTA 5.
Yeah.
And have previously clashed with Rockstar. I think they've been like previously like banned from playing the game and stuff.
Oh, really?
And
I didn't know there was a history of bad blood between them.
Yeah. And yeah, so they've now been brought in house. So I don't know if this means that like I don't know if CFX.re was like a legal entity that could be bought, or if they've literally just given
Hired
them
people.
jobs.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope they've realised how good that is, because it's been a thing since GTA 4, I think. The in-depth role-playing stuff. I think so. I could be wrong there. And you watch some of the stuff. It's so good. It's so good. I mean, they're doing it in Red Dead 2 as well. I watch a lot of David Earl's streams. And he does lots of GTA. Well, recently he's been getting into GTA role playing and Red Dead role playing and stuff like that. And the amount of effort it goes in. So I was watching him do Red Dead the other day, and he's walking down a corridor and he's hearing muffled voices like behind the door, and he opens the door and then you can hear the people talking, like, and they're talking like. But so it's actually factored that in. It's put that effect on their voices to sound like it's coming through the door. All of that sort of stuff. And just like I've seen, there's some people, and it's really funny as well. I've seen some, like people role playing as police. I've seen people role playing as gang members and all that sort of stuff. There's loads of it on TikTok, and I just think this is too good. It would be a shame if Rockstar hired these people so that it had a negative impact on that community. If they hired them to shut it down, essentially.
Like when oil companies buy green energy tech and shelve it.
I'm just thinking, I'm hoping Rockstar say, do you know what? Let's bring that side of GTA to GTA 6.
Well, but yeah, because apparently
right?
Apparently there had been rumours that GTA 6 was going to have like official role-playing support.
Right.
And obviously this is adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah, good. That would be brilliant. Yeah. Because I mean, I would give it a go, but the problem is, it's just I can't on my current setup, and you can't play it on console. So if they bring that stuff to console, I'd love to see what that's like. I'd love to see what it's like. The problem is, it's just really expensive to run, obviously, and if you want in on these servers, you have to pay a monthly charge, I believe.
Right, I see.
But yeah, I mean, if Rockstar have come to their senses and gone, no, this could be something amazing here, which it could be, because I genuinely think that GTA, if we're going to get one of these things become, the Oasis from Ready Player One, I think the closest we've got to that at the moment is GTA from the stuff that I've seen. Do you know what I mean? There's people living their new lives in there and doing their things, and yeah, I mean, it's so funny. If you've not looked into it, definitely watch YouTube videos all over TikTok or whatever. There's some really funny stuff. And as I said, David on Twitch, watch his stuff, because he's just finding that world. So that helps. He's not like someone that's been streaming it for years. So he's going through the process of fucking about and then, getting into trouble because he's fucking about and all that sort of stuff. It's really good. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's cool stuff. I really do hope that they're taking that on board, because that's good. I like it a lot.
Overwatch 2 is on Steam now. Hooray! However,
I remember that come out.
It's also the worst rated game on all of Steam.
Why is that? Because of how woke it is.
Probably, yeah. Well, everyone hates it, don't they? Everyone's just like, yeah. I don't even know. Like at this point, I couldn't even tell you what the changes were. All I remember is it came out, and I was like, oh, apparently I have Overwatch 2 when I previously had Overwatch, and it's just it's just for whatever reason it's been a massive flop. But to be fair, it's peaked at around 75,000 players apparently. So obviously it can't be total shit.
No, but it would have been unthinkable back in the day. Do you remember like the first 6 months after Overwatch came out, and it was like, no, this is gaming now for the rest of time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw through it, Sean. I saw through it. I wasn't a fan. It knocked out Titanfall 2. That didn't help.
Oh, that's true.
Weird trajectory that series has been on, isn't it?
Very, yeah.
It was massive, and it was massive for ages as well. And then it dropped off, and then they released Overwatch 2. And I'm not saying...
because they dropped... we didn't mention it on the show because it's not really our wheelhouse, but Overwatch League got dropped as well. So that was
what
like
was that?
So that was your official big esports tournament. Yeah. So they've been that.
Okay.
And useful context from Louis P in the chat. So apparently a lot of the complaints on Steam are from China, due to Blizzard pulling out of China and closing all accounts for all of their games, which is fair enough. That's a bit strong.
I don't know why they did that. Why did they do that though?
I have no idea.
Might be for legit reasons, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? That is a strange game, a very strange game, and one that I never really got into in the first place, but I know a lot of people did, and it was really weird when they went all quiet and then no one mentioned it when they launched the sequel.
Yeah, really strange. And they've abandoned the PvE stuff, which apparently was the reason that it had to be Overwatch 2. Like it couldn't just be another expansion or a patch or whatever.
They've got rid of that altogether.
Yeah, they've abandoned it apparently.
All right. Overwatch.
So, if you were looking forward to that, just play Exoprimal instead. It's better.
All right. There he goes. Sean with his kind opinion.
Bungie have confirmed that Keith David is going to be taking over as the voice of Commander Zavala.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously Lance Reddick passed away earlier this year.
Yeah.
It still doesn't feel great. Still don't really see how the universe allowed that, to be honest. Not happy about it.
It's almost as if the universe is a piece of shit, isn't it?
It's almost as if it doesn't care and it's just random, molecules smashing into each other.
That's scaring the shit out of me, actually. Please don't say shit like that. I'm going through some stuff in my head recently, and that just really made me go nuts. Just for a split second, I saw myself on top of a rock spinning into eternity, and I was like, I don't like that.
No,
so
thank
for
you. No cosmic awareness for me, please. So Keith David's going to take over. I mean, it'll be interesting. I can't even imagine how that feels, right? To fill another actor's shoes in that way.
Sure.
And I think it's different with games, right? TV shows or films or whatever. I don't know why I said TV shows like that. TV shows.
You're nearly 40. Television programs.
It's easy to write a character out, right? Whereas with something like Destiny, I feel like it's harder to do that.
To write. No, what makes you say that?
Well, because that character supports like systems and activities and stuff that still exist in the game, right?
Right.
So you'd have to replace if you were to replace the character with another character. You'd be like, well, hang on a minute. How do we explain why this new character is like taking over?
They did with Mass Effect 3.
Oh God,
shit.
Yeah.
What about the people where they all died? Oh, just put the same character in, but with a different name.
Yeah, it has the similar motivations
exactly
and
like
appearance, and
yeah. Hey, you remind me of such and such. Do I? I don't know who that is. Let's move on with the story now, please.
But yeah, like does
Destiny have done this before, though, haven't they?
Well, I was going to say because that like other actors have been replaced in Destiny, and I didn't fucking notice. Genuinely.
Oh, you noticed when old Dink.
oh god, yeah, no, that was
Peter
completely,
Dinky.
yeah, that was very much like, please do a completely different version of this character.
I'll just say it head on. I didn't mean to say it that way. It was just a funny way of saying Dinklage, and that sounded terribly offensive, and I apologise.
Oh god,
yeah,
probably that's
yeah.
one for the
I
edit,
cringed at myself then and just went, "That's not that." I wasn't making a joke.
No, that's fine.
I was just saying Dinklage in a funny way, and then it come out like that. Sorry about that.
One for the edit.
Cheers, man.
No worries. But like, so some of the other characters change voice actors, and I genuinely never even clocked. I had no idea. I was like, oh right, shit. So does Keith David try and do Lance Reddick's voice? Do you know what I mean? Or is he just like, no, I'm just going to...
Is it iconic?
Pretty iconic.
Is it like really iconic in the game?
Yeah.
I
but then...
don't think you do. No, I don't think you do. I don't think you try and imitate that voice because A, I think that's offensive, and B, I think that's a pressure that the voice actor... If I was working on that game, I would not ask that actor to do that. I would say, do it your way. It's fine. They're aware of the situation. It's publicly known that the voice actor for this character has passed away. Fans of the series would understand. Do not try and do his voice. That's insanely...
Because, it's weird, isn't it? Like, if someone just leaves the project because they've got other stuff on or they want too much money or whatever, it's not disrespectful to be like, right, well, let's get someone else in who sounds exactly the same. But when someone has died, it's weird to be like, please do exactly what they did.
Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it?
We don't want anyone to reflect on that. No, it's weird.
You're talking about when one of us dies?
When one of us dies?
Yeah. There's no replacing us, mate. All one of a kind.
I think we could replace you. We just got to find. There's plenty of people that
no one else looks like this, mate. They
like it. I think it's weird, isn't it? Because I think, everywhere I look, I see Sean Bells. It's.
Yep.
Do you remember that period? I went for a period. The bowling guy with the afro. I was like, oh my god, this looks so much like Sean Bell. Yet the key features are nothing like Sean Bell. Yet it's Sean Bell. That was the weirdest. If you search, I wonder if you search bowling afro. I need to find the guy.
Surely not.
Bowling afro.
Surely that's
Is that all
vague.
you need to do? No, I found him. Yeah, Kyle Troop. His name is Kyle Troop. Kyle Troop. So that's KYLETROUP. It looks like Sean Bell. It looks like you so much, Sean. It's absolutely nuts. But just you and an afro. Oh, he got dreads after that, not so much.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, there I am. That's me. That is how my hair used to grow when it used to grow.
I know. It's you. It's cool. And he's really good at bowling as well, to be fair. Okay, what will we talk about?
I don't know. Should I do the next?
Sort of giving up on this.
Lance Reddick, R.I.P.
Oh, that's right.
Nintendo has applied for a load of patents relating to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh God! They're trying to... Why did they do this after the fact?
Yeah, I didn't really know that was allowed.
No, I'm pretty sure it's allowed. It's just weird. Yeah. Is the binding effect one of them?
So I'm reading it now. I probby if
would,
James was here, he'd have
I would have ripped the shit out of you if this was you. Fair enough. You're going to come on the show in a couple of weeks and go, why didn't you have a go at Sean for not reading the news? Yeah, absolutely right. But the problem is, it's only me and him, so it'd be really awkward if I just ripped through
fell out now
for 10 minutes. If Sean went quiet like you do when I take the piss out of you, James, then we're fucked at this point. Go on.
Per gamesindustry.biz, the patent applications cover a variety of gameplay mechanics and technology, such as the limits of Link's Ultra Hand ability or the game's method for calculating the speed and physics of moving vehicles. Another patent has been applied to the loading screen. The loading screen used when Link fast travels between destinations, described as...
That is pretty good.
Quote, it is good. I don't know if it's worth patenting, But described as, quote, a game processing method capable of enriching game presentation during a waiting period in which at least part of the game processing is interrupted, i.e. giving you something to watch while there's a loading screen. I think that's what that says, right?
Do you remember when... what was it? Was it the PS2 when the PS2 launched, or was it when the PS1 launched, where they were like, loading screens, mate, forget that. You'll be playing Pac-Man during loading screens. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think
you
it was
load
PS1.
a game while the game loads.
Yeah, it was like Ridge Racer. I'm sure it was Ridge Racer, and they went play Pac-Man while it's loading, and you were like, "What the fuck?" Yeah, it's that's a good idea. Why are they not? Oh, because we haven't got loading screens anymore, Nintendo. I mean, it sums up Nintendo trying to patent a loading screen when Xbox and Sony barely have them anymore.
Just trying, yeah, not really.
So
a thing
the
anymore.
loading screen is, for those of you that haven't played it, it shows you where you are in the map. Then it slowly transitions to where you're going in the map, and then you launch into the game. I mean, if
it
you
is
wanna
quite
patent
cool.
That's fine. It is quite cool, but you forget after. Like, I mean, you don't look at it, do you? You pick your phone up and put TikTok on for a couple of vids before you get there. So it's not exactly the best thing. My favourite is the fucking FIFA loading screen at the moment, because what it does, it puts you in a little mini game. So what it does, like, you launch a game, and then suddenly your player, there's a shot from behind your player, and there's the goal up ahead of you, and you're in the training ground, and you have some shots on goal. But the game loads so quickly now that it loads to that and then goes away and starts the game. And you're like, well, what was the point in that?
Yeah, just take it out then, guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently they've also tried to copyright the recall ability, which I barely used when I played that game.
No, I used it quite a bit.
Did you? I saw loads of people doing really clever stuff. I don't know, for whatever reason, moment to moment, it just never occurred to me to use it.
Getting up in the clouds was one of the best ways of doing it with the falling rocks. That was fine. And also, I used it in combat a lot. Someone throws something at me, you just do that and then send it back. Yeah, it goes right back at them.
No, I was too stupid for that.
Also, it was really good for. I tell you what, it was really good for in the shrines when you fucked up a puzzle, because you'd be like, "Oh, I've sent that over there, and now it's over there." But you can the range on it's really far, so you can just go, "Oh, I'll just bring it back here and try that again." So you did fuck up there, didn't you, Sean?
Did. The Pokémon Company are having a fucking word with themselves about the. So basically, obviously, we all know by now that the release schedule they've had has just been absolutely ridiculous. They've been firing out Pokemon games, and we are really seeing, when Arceus came out, everyone's like, it's a bit wobbly, but it feels like a sort of interesting, very fun sort of B-tier experiment. And, when Violet and Scarlet come out, that's going to be fucking amazing. And then Violet and Scarlet were even more broken.
It was a disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, technically, like really, really fucked. I mean, I know people who enjoyed it despite the issues, but there was some really, performance was one thing. The fact that you could run at double speed by plugging another controller in, just weird shit like that. So yeah, basically, the Pokemon Company have said they are having internal conversations about their release schedule and the impact it's having on the staff and the quality of the work. Because it is incredible, when you consider that the Switch has had, so you had Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, Sword and Shield, plus the expansion, plus Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet, and now the DLC for that. That's on one console. That's insane.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
For a console that's been out 5 years now? Is it 5 years?
What, the Switch?
Yeah. There's more than that.
2000. No, not 2007. What am I talking about? When did we start this podcast?
I don't know.
Because it was
last week.
No, it would have been. So I was born in 2012, I think.
2017 says
2014.
Ryan.
Oh, 2017. Okay.
Everyone in the chat's just throwing out numbers
6
now.
years. 6 years old. Okay. 6 years old.
So yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot of games for one. I mean, however big the studio is, that's a lot.
P says 1993. It wasn't 1993, Louis, and you should know that because you were trying to flog the things back then to us all at a discounted rate. Yeah, that's how it works, wasn't it?
Telling you which car boot to go to get a cheap SNES.
That's a really niche joke that only 3 people would get. Where did you sit with Arceus? Where did you end up?
I really enjoyed it.
I heard it was really good, but then James come along with his negativity. But so was he? Because I think he really enjoyed it up until he had to try and catch them all. And then he was like,
yeah, but except he didn't have to. That he put that on himself.
He did.
No one made him do that. So I don't think he can blame the game for that. Yeah, but yeah, he had a really good time. Yeah, up until he finished it, and then was like, right, now I need to completely fill the Pokédex.
I think what's happened. Do you want my theory?
Yes.
Pokemon Go was like a cultural phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
It was huge.
Mm-hmm. Still is.
Yeah, still is. And I think they thought, if we can get games out there, Pokemon games, let's really drive at Pokemon games, because at least we're selling them for £60 a pop, and not like a free app that you might buy some things. I'm sure they make a lot of money on Pokemon Go, but to sell £60 a pop with that sort of audience, and they probably pushed too hard. They got greedy and they went for it, and then they've taken a couple of fumbles.
And I think especially because Arceus took a few things from Pokemon Go as well. Like just in terms of like in Arceus, you were encouraged to you're basically just sprinting around catching fucking hundreds of the fuckers. Right. They're like it's not, you know, with the other games it's like, right, you caught this one Pokemon, don't really need another one of the same. Why would you? Whereas Arceus is like, no, keep catching them. Like it's all like adds to your research.
Don't you feed?
And stuff, right?
Don't you feed the if you've got two of the same Pokemon? Don't you feed one to the other to make them evolve?
No. Sounds gross.
I thought that's what you do. You've got like two Pikachu, and then the one with the higher level, you feed the one with the lower level to the higher level, and then it becomes Pika, whatever, Mega Pika Man or whatever.
I don't think that's ever been a thing. You what? You're right, Dave.
I that's what I thought the game was.
No, the Pokemon evolve just when they reach like a certain level or whatever.
Yeah, but you've got to level them up, and you level them up by fighting.
Yeah.
And then you feed the same the Pikachu.
No, you don't feed Pokemon to each other. I can't. For everyone listening, I don't know if he's winding me up or if he's genuinely.
I just thought that was the thing. I thought that was the thing. I thought you read. I thought the Squirtle with the.
Make him eat a baby Squirtle, and then he gets stronger.
And then he comes like, what do they call the super mega the Squirtle? The big, what's it called? The Squirtite. What are the big ones called? What's the big one?
Squirtle.
The one because then he gets cannons on his back.
Wartortle and then Blastoise.
That's it.
Yeah.
Which one's the one with the cannons on his back?
That's Blastoise.
Right. How many Squirtles does that motherfucker eat?
How many kids does he have to eat?
I've got. What are you laughing for?
It's just the way you've really stuck by it. That's
what it was. I'll be honest with you. I just thought that's what it was.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
And
then people go, why would they do that? That's really horrible. Well, why would you capture a wild animal and force them
make
to
them
fight
each other? In a bid to bond with them.
And I'm pretty sure I'm the only guy on the internet that's pointed out that wild observation. Also, Sean, Mario eating mushrooms, eh?
What's that all about, eh? What's going on there? Is he really gaining powers, or is he just,
Yeah, space it out, baby.
Makes you think.
Is that it for the news?
Thank God, yes.
Thank God. That was fun.
It was.
I've got nothing to talk about in what you've been playing. I mean, I've been playing Disney Illusion Island still. I've not completed it. I'm still fucking loving it. Yeah? Cool. It's gonna be one of those games that people playing it and just going, "What the fuck are you raving about, David? I don't get it." And then I'm also worried that maybe I've got the touch of the Disney, brainwashing from when we went to Euro Disney this year. Maybe it's that. I think it is so beautifully animated and so fun to play that I can't imagine anyone not enjoying it. And it's funny, isn't it? Because haven't enjoyed it because they've written bad reviews about it.
It's funny, isn't it? Because it's obviously it's got Disney characters in it. I reckon a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's beautifully animated as you would expect." It's like, well, no, Disney didn't make it, right? That's the developer independently being really good at animation. That's not like Disney. Like, oh, we're making a Mickey Mouse game. We'll just fly in the fucking animators and we'll take care of that for you.
Dig up wall.
That's not a given that it looks and moves beautifully. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like it's
no, and there's so many stuff. There's so much stuff in it. Checkpoints, the little beards or whatever. You look at it and you're going, "Oh my god, that's like the most Disney thing I've ever seen." I can't honestly. This is the team that did Battletoads, apparently. The reboot of Battletoads.
Yeah,
they absolutely fucking nailed this. Like, I'm serious. They absolutely fucking nailed it. It looks.
Because was that the Battletoads remake? Was that bad, or was that just everyone going Battletoads has always been shit? Therefore,
I never played it, and the only person we relied on who did play it was James Farley. And you know what he's like?
I do.
You know, influenced, isn't he? He's influenced that boy. He sways. I'm looking. He's completed Illusion Island.
Has he?
We've already had a couple of interesting discussions about it privately. So
is he being miserable?
Well, the amount of but the amount of times he said something, and I'm like, save it. We'll talk about that on the show. Do you remember Stray when that came out?
I do.
Yeah, I've got a feeling there's going to be a similar chat.
What about whether it's got stealth sections?
We sort of, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Talk about it when he comes back. I don't want to talk for him. But we'll talk about it when he comes back. I don't know, man.
He'll send us another letter.
Again, I've still not done it in co-op yet, which was sort of a big selling point when that game came out. But I'm really enjoying just flying about the stage and doing the little challenging platform stuff, bits and pieces, and yeah, I mean the story's not great, and you know it's not exactly breaking any new ground. But seriously, if you just want to chill out for like 5 to 6 hours, in fact, actually, I'm probably up to 7 or 8 now, on your Switch, and it runs beautifully on that thing, which I can't say about many games these days. But I don't even know if it's out on anything else. Is it out on anything else?
I think it might just be Switch and PC, but I'm not checking. So. Who knows? Yeah,
Illusion Island. I think. Oh my god, it's getting so badly rated everywhere. It's another one where I'm just thinking, am I wrong? Because I don't think I'm wrong. Every time I boot it up, I've got a smile on my face and I really enjoy it. So what? It's Nintendo Switch only, according to
Blimey,
Google. According to Google thing.
That's true.
So we've been caught out by that.
Well, we haven't.
A fair few times.
James has.
Oh yeah, James has been caught out by that a fair few times. I don't know. Ryan in the chat is saying Dave's coming out to bat for a 6 out of 10, and I think it's better than that. But I think that's what I'm doing. I think that's what's going to happen. And then Scientologist has said 6 out of 10 is good. We know it's not. I know it's above average.
Technically, it's above average. Yeah.
No one thinks that. If a game gets 6, everyone goes, ooh. If Starfield got a 6, right,
that would be
people
bad.
aren't going, oh, so it's good then. I really like it. So, I mean, you know, if you've not played... This is the problem. There's too many caveats. If you've not played a Metroidvania before, then why not give it a go, is what I'm going to say to that. Right, the only other game I've played is a hit new indie game that's taken the world by storm, Sean.
Yeah.
It's called Fall Guys.
Whoa.
we were playing last night, and my friend Chris turned around and said, "Do you want a game of Fall Guys?" And I was like, "Yes, I fucking do." I said, "But I've got to get it installed." And I looked at my games, I was like, it's still installed, Chris. I don't know why. I haven't had the heart to delete it yet. And we played Fall Guys, and I was reminded about how brilliant that game is and how weirdly quiet it's gone. Because
I think it's still big, right? I think it's just maybe we're not the audience for it.
We did not have any problems getting a game. You know, full game was still playing. The new game modes were really fun. I went through the usual frustrations of, you know, like it was like instantly. The first game we played, we were on the edge of our seats trying to, because we were playing duos, on the edge of our seats trying to get to the end of the level and just go, "No, finish, where are you?" Yeah. We've got to do a stream of that. We've got to do a stream of it. Because honestly, like the way I always prefer to play it is if there's like 4 of you, you don't play the squad mode. You play, maybe you do a couple of squad mode games or whatever, but you play against the 4 of you so that you're all in the same game. And then once you're out, you spectate one of the people that's like left in from your team, you know. Because if you all get through to the final, how fucking fun's that going to be? You fighting it off for the crown at the end. Fall Guys is still going and it's still really fucking good.
It's been, I mean, because I played it again, it must have been like 2-3 months ago, just because Isaac wanted to see something new. He's so he's spoiled anyway, but it's for some reason it's especially funny to me that he just, whenever I turn the Xbox on, he just assumes there is a new game out for him to see.
Really?
Yeah. Because between Game Pass and then sort of kid friendly free to play stuff, it's just like, well, why wouldn't there be? There's always a new game.
Where is he with gaming at the moment, Isaac?
We're still sort of he'll occasionally play Mario Kart or whatever. He doesn't get as hyper as he used to.
That's right. It overstimulates him, right?
He was, and he was like, I mean, hyper's one thing. Like, it's annoying, but it's not misbehavior.
What I was going to say? Because I thought you were going to say, he's not quite into it just yet. I was going to go put Burnout Paradise on for him, but no, that's the last thing.
That'd be a bad idea. Like him being overexcited is, it's not bad behavior, right? But he would, it would cross over into when it was time to turn it off, he was being really bad, proper tantrums and stuff. So we knocked it on the head for a bit. But then, he's happy to watch me play stuff quite often now. I realized I could turn the blood off in Exoprimal, and I figured that made it all right. He really was watching that. So, but then it's interesting because sometimes, so he the other day he was like, "Oh, can I see a new game?" I was like, "Fuck, all right." I was like, "Oh, Planet of Lana, I've not started that." I think that was an age rating of 3.
Oh, that's really fucking scary.
The fucking opening, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the opening's horrific. It gets way worse as well. There's some real horrible shit in it. Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, because I was like, if we just get through this first bit, it's gonna be all right.
Nah, it's not. It gets worse.
Cool. Well,
Abandon that then. Yeah, Charlie was like, nah, no thanks, turn this off. Yeah. I had to stop playing it.
It was funny though because it after that initial bit where it's everyone gets kidnapped and stuff, and then she falls asleep, and then she wakes up, and it's then the logo comes up, and there's this big sort of orchestral number, and Isaac was like, why is it playing nice music? This is really sad. And I was like, because it is sad, but also this is the adventure starting now. This is But no, he wasn't having it. So that went off pretty quick.
Arguing with the artistic direction.
On the other hand, it's amazing that he's picking up on cues like that. To him, that seemed really incongruous. That it's
totally.
There's adventure music when he's just still really upset about what he's just seen.
And if he's aware of that on that level, are you tempted to get him to play Pineapple on Pizza yet? Because I'd watch that as a stream.
No, I don't think he would. He probably would find it hilarious. That's the worst part. That's the. I can't believe you traumatized your child making him play that. No, he loved it. That's the problem.
Oh my god! Can you imagine Charlie playing it? Fuck me. He'd want to do it again.
I was going to say, repeat it, trying to get a better score. No, I'll tell you what was amazing, and I'm sorry for everyone. This has just sort of descended into. This isn't really what I've been playing. I mean, it technically is, but it's more just dad chat. But played a bit of Celeste as well because that's just arrived on Game Pass. Obviously, I finished it on the Switch years ago.
What the
2D platform.
Oh my god, that's so good, that game.
Really fucking good. But it was lovely because Isaac was enjoying watching it, and I was obviously reading all the dialogue to him and kind of explaining what was going on. But then when Badalin appeared, right,
the one
and then we ended up. What? Sorry,
is that the one that follows you?
Yeah, so it's it's essentially Madeline sort of everything she doesn't like about herself, right? And yeah, I ended up having like a really nice conversation with Isaac about how this is a reflection of someone being like, oh well, I don't like these things that I do, so I'm going to essentially pretend it's like another person, right? It's not me that does those things. And yeah, and so that was really lovely and great excuse to play the game again, which is still fucking brilliant. So I'll talk about what I've actually been playing for real.
No, talk about games that you haven't been playing. That's
Okay.
that's what I want to know.
We'll talk about
This
FIFA.
week, I have not played Rainbow Six Siege.
I imagine it's good. So I played episode 2 of Telltale's The Expanse.
Before you get into it, should I play it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Wicked. I'm going to play then. Yeah,
episode 2 is way better than the first one. I mean, I enjoyed the first one for what it was. The first one was like an hour long, whereas this one's way more substantial. Like I kept.
Oh right, okay.
Because it kind of follows a similar trajectory, right? In that it's like, again, it starts out, there's a bit on the ship, bit of drama, and then you're off on another spacewalk.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh right, okay. And then I imagine once this ends, that'll be it. But actually carried on a bit further, and there was some really good stuff. So yeah, I mean, I still wonder how you'll take to it, not knowing about the show.
Right.
But I do think it's definitely finding its.
I mean, does it explain the basic concept of the show? Is there bits in it where you're like, yeah, I know?
Well, no, because I don't think it matters so much because it doesn't like, other than like the relationships between the people in the crew, doesn't really engage with the politics and stuff, which as a fan of the show or the books you might think is a shame, but it's trying to tell a small scale story, right? Just about these people and the shitty situations they keep getting thrown into. So I guess they've written it in a way that you don't need to know that stuff. There are certainly nods and like some characters that mention and stuff. They're like, oh shit, I know who that is. But broadly speaking, I don't think it matters.
Impression of
as me. Impression of me hearing Christian Avasarala's voice and going, oh my god, I hope she swears.
You think your voice is way lower than it
is. Yeah, really enjoyed it. The only thing I would say is, because obviously these games often thrive on encouraging you to be a nosy fucker and rifle through people's stuff.
Yeah, I've always hated that.
Yeah, that is still a thing, but with this, it's more like a treasure hunt, effectively. Like, so. For example, in episode 2, it's revealed that like one of the characters has like a drugs dependency. He's like a recovering addict, and there's this substance he needs to deal with his withdrawal symptoms. So as you're exploring this ruined spaceship, doing other stuff, it's like, oh, keep an eye out for this guy's medicine. And I was like, because I know I missed something in the first episode, and I was annoyed that I missed it. So this time I was like, right, I really want to find this thing. I don't want to, I don't want to fuck this up as well. Fucking, it must have been about 20-30 minutes. I was scouring everything trying to find this medicine, and eventually I just gave in and Googled it. And like, when I found out where it is, I was like, fuck off. That is ridiculous where it's hidden. So if you are going to play this, just look up where the secret shit is. You'll have a better time.
That's always been the worst thing about Telltale games. Yeah. It's also the worst thing about the Life is Strange games as well, right? When they try and it's as if they go, well, this isn't long enough. We need to put in some gaming elements into it. And funnily enough, Telltale really got it right with that first game. No, they didn't. No. I'm remembering back to that Walking Dead game now, and the shooting stuff was pretty good, because if you fucked up, it wasn't game over. Yeah, the story continues, just like someone died or whatever in your story. But then it also had, do you remember the battery stuff where you had to find the batteries for the radio?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh god, Christ. One of them was like under the hood of a car, but it was like, what's a battery for a radio doing under the hood of a car? Something like that.
Yeah.
Feels
a bit like that.
Games have always done that, and that's why we gave so much praise to that As Dusk Falls, because it got away with all of that. It got just got rid of all of that, and it was all story stuff.
Yeah,
it made
felt
such
really
a huge
brisk
difference
by comparison.
Yeah.
And like, it was a shorter game as a result, but didn't matter. You know, it wasn't really because it was there's no filler.
Yeah.
What I will say about this episode, so I've mentioned before, so the main character is one of my favorite characters from the show, and the actor who plays her plays it in the game as well. Karagish, fucking amazing. There's one line in this might be one of the worst line reads I've ever heard, and I don't know if it's just like a direction thing. It's right. I'm going to tell you what it is because this is not a spoiler because it's bad, and I can't ruin something for you that's already bad, right?
Right.
There is a crew member that you can flirt with, and again, that's like right off the bat. It's clear there's maybe something going on there, and the running joke is that like you always like fight with them, right? Like physically, you have like little scraps with them, and there's like you have like a little scoreboard with a running tally and stuff.
Right.
And you sort of flirting with them, sort of being sort of a bit sort of weird and passive aggressive with each other, but in a jokey way. And then they end it by saying like, "Oh, like we'll have to settle this later." And the two dialogue options are by fighting ? Or by fucking ? Right? Which I don't mind. I think that's. Okay, I was just like, yeah, fair play. That's quite funny. I like that.
Fighting or fucking, yeah.
So I went for fucking, obviously.
Sure,
but the actual line she says is, by settle it, do you mean sex?
Sean, that sounds amazing.
And I was like, what the fuck? That was terrible. Like, just give her one more go at that line. That was like...
Do you know how many times I'm going to say that in my life now? By settle it, do you mean sex?
I can't remember if I don't think I saved the voice clip, the video clip, because I was laughing so hard.
That genuinely sounds like a Homer Simpson line. Doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like a Homer Simpson line. That's mad.
So that was weird. Other than that, really enjoyed it. I really,
okay.
And like I say, this episode is a lot more substantial, like some genuine drama, good bants with some of the crew now that you know them a bit better and stuff. It's a good time.
Okay, I need to play that then, don't I?
Yeah, I reckon you do.
Okay. By play it, do you mean sex? Sean?
Yep.
Okay. Good.
Baldurs Gate 3. Dave's walked off. He's had enough. Still playing it. It's I was saying last week, like, didn't like the intro and then was warming up to it. This is shooting straight up the gothy list.
Really?
I'm like obsessed with it. It's basically all I want
to play at the moment. Now?
Like it's like 25 hours, I think.
Because I'll be honest with you, by the end of last week's show, I still didn't fucking understand it. Right.
Go on.
I was chatting to John about it, and he said, "Isn't it just Disco Elysium? Like, isn't it? You walk around and a story happens, and it's dependent on stats and dice."
There is a lot of that, but there's a lot of fighting as well, which is all. Well, you can either play it turn-based or real-time, but probably play it turn-based.
Oh, so you got when you say real-time, what you can just like press buttons to fight and shit.
No, it's still like a strategy game. So you still like, right, you do this, you do this, you do that. So when you play it in real time, what you need to do is like you essentially pause it, give everyone their orders, unpause it, let it play out for a second, and then pause it. Yeah. So
all right. So there is combat involved. Fine.
Yeah. Personally, I much prefer turn-based, which is the default for combat. It's really fascinating because now that I've played more of it, I'm seeing how many of these weird interactions you can have with the world, and like. I was saying last week about how there's like fuck all tutorials, right? It's like, here's how you access your inventory. And I'm like, yeah, all right. But I feel like I'm missing loads of other stuff because every character has so many of these abilities, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not defending the lack of tutorials as such, but I think I get what it's trying to do because I think, so I did this one fight where in order to get the jump on this guy I was trying to kill, I like got all my party like up on these rafters right above where everyone was, and I was like, I can just shoot down at everyone and win, and that'll be fine. Which It was at first until people started climbing up onto the rafters and then just fucking shoving my guys off the rafters, and they were just falling and dying.
Right.
And I was like, shit! It did not occur to me that you could do that. But then, and then I was like, so why wasn't there a tutorial that's like, oh, by the way, you have this like shove move, and obviously if someone's above like a chasm or they're like the edge of a cliff or whatever, like yeah, just fucking push them off. Why not?
Barry from EastEnders.
I don't get that reference.
Sorry, Sean. EastEnders fans are loving that.
But you would see if they put a tutorial in that's like, here's how you shove people off cliffs.
That really threw you for a second. Then. Where was I was on a roll. David come out with the shittest reference known to man.
And now look at me, shell of a man.
Here. Yeah. No, Janine did the shoving Phil Wall. Sorry for people that are not watching the chat.
That's all right. Yeah, if they put in a tutorial, it's like, here's how you shove people off ledges, you'd be like, oh, right, this is a game where you're supposed to shove people off ledges. That's a mechanic. But it actually, the interactions you can have with the world are so rich and weird that, like, that's just one of loads of things you can do.
Right.
And it's like, and you could never do tutorials for all of them. So it's trying to lead you into like just seeing these things unfold and then being like, oh shit, of course, like this is the level I need to be thinking about this game on, right? So playing it earlier today, I was fighting this guy on like this big like tree branch, right? And he like teleported off it, so he was down on the ground, right?
Okay.
It's all full on beardy weirdy fantasy.
I'm sure it's brilliant, but you're
no. I know I'm not helping. And basically, so he teleported down.
So I got my wand out.
So he teleported down to ground level, and it was basically he was in like a position where I could see him, but like no one could get like a good shot on him with a bow and arrow magic or whatever. But then I realised every character can jump, right? So you usually use it for like jumping over gaps or whatever. And I was just like, what if I make one of my guys just jump on him from up here and just land on him? And I did, and like took a load of damage, but knocked the guy to the ground. And then I was like,
at least, surely the guy's crushed.
It hurt him, but it didn't kill him. And then I was just like, well, I'll just do that with the other three characters. So just every character just like, way, just fucking jumping off this branch and just fucking landing on this guy. And then, stuff like that. Like, I was doing this one fight, and again, this will not help. I was doing this fight where I had this character with me who's like a big mushroom man, right? And he could, like, any corpse, he could, like, put spores in it and then control it, right? So basically, any corpse you could turn into, like, an ally, right?
Okay.
So I'm doing this fight, and I killed this guy who was like a boss. So as soon as I killed him, mid-fight, I was like, I'll see if he's got any good loot on him, right? Took all his gear off him. And then I was like, oh shit, no, I can reanimate him as a mushroom lad and make him my friend. So I did that, and then realised he was, like, obviously, so he was my mate now, but he's got none of his gear because I just fucking took it all off him. And then I was like, oh, there's a button here that says improvise weapon. Click that. Grabbed one of his, and he basically just chose one of his mate's corpses off the ground. And then he just fucking picked him up and then just beating the shit out of the enemies with this corpse of one of his mates because he's been turned into a mushroom man. Stuff like that just happens. And you're just like, oh, this is the best game ever. This is fucking fantastic.
It's more like you think out of the box and it can happen.
Yes,
like not everything is as straightforward as it seems, and then when you try something outside of
exactly, and because obviously it's trying to mimic that feeling of playing a tabletop RPG where you're just talking to whoever's running the game, right? You're just like, oh, I'll guess I'll do this, and the DM just has to kind of work around it.
And for those of you listening on the podcast and they're not watching this live, Sean's doing all of this while there's been non-stop references about Janine from EastEnders in the chat. Literally, someone posted a clip of Janine from EastEnders in the chat. So you're doing an incredible job, Sean.
Thanks, mate.
You're very welcome. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right.
Okay, so one thing that I did want to ask you about that I read about Baldurs Gate 3 this week is you seem to be really enjoying it now.
Yes.
You put 25 hours in.
Yes.
And this week I heard it was the world's horniest game. So now it makes sense.
It's incredibly horny. It's ridiculous. It's like,
what do you mean? Like,
to the point that you will see tits whether you want to or not. Like, it's absolutely absurd.
What's it on? So, but wait, hold on. So, do you play as one character?
Well, yes. No, it's
But you control the team
thing.
when you team up.
Yeah,
right?
basically, and you can control any one of them, and you could make a character who's dumb as a bag of rocks, but is a really good fighter, and then you might meet someone else and be like, well, actually, they're much better at talking to people. So whenever you're in town or whatever, like that other person becomes your main character, right? The one who does all the talking, convincing, arguing, whatever. And your main character might actually take a back seat. And like there are people playing this in co-op who just have a team of custom characters and they're not actually using any of the, in-game companions or whatever.
Right.
So yeah, and no one is like the main character, right? It's just a team.
So how does the fucking work? That's what I'm trying to get to.
I don't know. I've not had sex yet.
Don't lie to me, Sean.
It's been offered. It's been offered, and I've had a nice date with someone else.
Cool, but we're talking about Baldur's Gate 3 now. Sean, let's stop getting into your... Wait. So, I'm sorry.
No,
also, if you've not heard us, if you're listening to the podcast, you're a new listener, and you've not heard us talk about sex, with children.
Yep.
Okay. So
sorry.
What are the boobs like?
Well, this is the thing, right? Is it doesn't. I don't.
What start to the answer to that?
There's nudity in it, and there's I gather there is shagging in it. Not that I've seen any yet. Try my best. But it's I don't know. No part of me is like, oh yeah, this is fucking hot actually. Like literally. So the reason I have seen tits in this game, and I have, okay. can't take that away from me. Literally. So every character has their like casual outfit and then their combat outfit, right? So when you're out fighting stuff, you got your combat outfit on, and then when you go back to camp, you wear your casual stuff. You can basically, if you don't like the look of the armor you're wearing, you can make your character like appear in their non-combat clothing, right, when they're out and about adventuring.
And it has no effect on the...
And has no effect on anything. And your non-combat clothing can be no clothing at all. So if you want, you can have your entire squad running around dicks out.
Right, but you're actively choosing to
You'd have to actively choose that. Okay. What is weird,
John,
is when you click the button,
a crew full of nudists.
When you click the button, I don't know if they could even consider this a bug or whether it's something they want to fix or what. When you click the button to switch between your combat and your casual outfit, there's about half a second where they're just nude. Yeah. And just like, oh right, well I've seen that now. That happened.
Really awkward. Yeah, like walking in on them in there.
So this is like.
It was like that when I was setting up Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going through the options of characters on Cyberpunk, and Joe's sitting next to me, and it's like, how long do you want the penis? I was like, well, long, obviously, but...
Yeah. I mean, at least in Baldur's Gate 3, you will see that penis again if you choose to. Whereas in Cyberpunk, it was like, well, what did that achieve? That was... You never see it again, do you? I don't think.
Well, when it glitched through, you just glitch through the trousers.
So yeah, and there's one party member who like after about maybe 5 hours of gameplay was like he's clearly after you. Like it really doesn't, like most your typical BioWare RPG. It's you work at the relationship, give them presents, say things they like. Whereas this is like literally 5 hours in. 5 hours in, this one character's like, I want to. She's like, what was it? She says something like, I want to taste you. Like your scent's driving me wild. She's like a different. She's like she's a Githyanki. They're like this other race that I think are from space. I'm not really sure. And yeah, she's just fully into you.
Are you supposed to know that before you want to make love?
No, what? Sorry.
Like if they're from your planet or not?
No, it really matters if you're in. If you.
I've had this argument with James so many times. I have had this
have.
argument with James so many times.
Of course you have. Oh, Hoaxfist in the chat says yes, they are from space. Cool.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're giving Bioware a little bit too much credit there, because honestly, those romance things are like,
Oh, they were
you've
dreadful.
got an option to say, "Hey, I'm going to go back to my room now." To, "Hey, I'd like to go into your room if you like that. I would like that too." Well, I'll do that one then. Really? Would you? Oh, not now. Let's talk later. You go, right, okay, well, I've started the romance quest in this game then.
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's really good.
I'm not going to play
it. Well, this is the thing. I don't know if I would recommend it or not. I do think that, if you've got, like, no interest in Dungeons and Dragons or no knowledge of it whatsoever, I do think it would be a slog at first.
This seriously what kills me about us not doing this full time.
Yeah.
Like, because this would be a streaming series. Me playing it, you're offering me advice. So you watching along and offering me advice while I'm playing it. That's a stream. I'd love to do that. Can't do it. No time, no money.
No.
Yeah? All right? So, if you're listening BBC and you're looking for someone to buy out, I listened to. I don't want to go into it, actually. No, I shouldn't. I listened to a podcast where they said we've just been bought out by such and such, and we're really excited by that. We're now, part of that business, and with it. And I just thought they legitimately could have bought us.
And also, if we were announcing that we'd been bought and this was becoming our full-time jobs, we wouldn't be like, oh yeah, this is some good news. We'd be fucking crying.
Right, I'm not 100% sure that they are getting paid.
Okay. Well, that's different.
Know what the
that is
financial situation is between those parties, but let's not talk about that. Let's continue.
Okay. I've got one more game. It's a short one. Quake 2. There was it was sort of leaked a day or two before, but there was these rumors like, oh, apparently there's going to be like a Quake 2 remaster. And initially I was like, oh, that's fine, I guess. And then I was like, hang on a minute, that will definitely be on Game Pass. And then there it was on my Xbox.
Oh, it's on Game Pass, is it?
Yeah, it was Bethesda, isn't it?
Is it online? Is it online multiplayer?
Oh, I assume so.
Oh, never assume.
That might be a laugh.
Do you know, one of my managers once said, never presume it makes an ass out of you and me.
That's true.
And I said, no, it makes a prez out of you and me. And he went, what? And I said, please tell me you get that. And he went, no. And I went, forget it then. God.
So it's one of those when you play remaster and it's like, oh man, this is exactly as I remember it. No, it isn't. It's how you've changed it in your mind since you played the original. So this is another remaster from Night Dive Studios, who've made quite a name for themselves, reinvigorating a lot of older sort of PC stuff. They did the Quake remaster that you can play on Game Pass, so basically, I don't know the full ins and outs of it. Obviously, visually, it's had a bit of a spruce up, fancier lighting, stuff like that. But apparently there's been loads of changes under the hood as well, like loads of tweaks to like enemy behaviors and stuff, and rebalancing and what have you. It's been an absolute blast, just sprinting around, shooting the fuck out of loads. Because obviously, back in the day we didn't boomer shooters weren't a thing because they were just shooters, right? And it's interesting going back to Quake 2 and being like, oh yeah, it's one of those. It fits into that sort of mold and that something we now understand as a genre. And it was like back in the day, I think I played it sort of quite slow and methodically, whereas now it's like I'm just fucking sprinting around shooting people and having a really nice time. I think there's like extra bits to the levels as well. I've definitely seen stuff that I really don't remember, and I'm talking levels that like as a teenager I would play over and over because what else are you going to do? And it's got all the expansions that came out for it and stuff. Like if you've got Game Pass, absolute no-brainer. I don't know what they're charging for it otherwise, but yeah, nice thing to just appear in my life for free.
It's not the one people want though, is it?
Is it not? I don't know what.
People want a Quake 3 Arena, right?
Yeah, probably.
Like I love Quake 3 Arena, and mate, I'm looking now because I'm googling it because in my head I'm remembering a ton of maps, and I went, yeah, that was Quake 3 because I definitely played Quake 3 a lot.
Yeah.
But it wasn't actually the ones that I'm remembering at Unreal Tournament, and I'm thinking, oh my god, is there a way of playing that on the Xbox right now? Because I'd probably cry if I did.
I don't think. I mean, you would assume it's coming, right? But then maybe what happened to Quake Arena? That got mothballed, didn't it, ages ago?
Yeah, who knows who owns any of this shit anymore?
I mean, id will, and then Bethesda will still own it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, why can't you fucking play that online on the Xbox? So mad.
Because it costs money to run it, I suppose.
Yeah, but it will get
not
played though.
Yeah. Well, this was. Do you remember I mentioned John Carmack was talking about? It was when that VR game, I forget what it was called, got shut down, and he did this big sort of really interesting blog post about how you can keep like online services going. It's like it actually basically only takes like apparently one person kept Quake Arena alive for years. But it's not considered much of a career move, right? Like, oh, what have you done? Oh, well, I just sort of maintained a game that 300 people still play.
Right,
it's not a, so just it's quite hard to find people who want to do it, basically. So yeah, it's one of those.
Shit. That's taking me back. I remember sitting there dialing in 56k modem, Game Spy. What server are you in?
Well, I mean, this one
like having to ring each other from I don't know. How did we contact each other? I assume it was like
he's like ICQ
AOL
and
chat
shit.
or
Yeah,
something.
MSN and shit. Yeah. God, remember ICQ? It's not technically still going. For someone
I
told
think
me.
so. Yeah. But yeah, high quality. Okay. Okay, we're heading towards 2 hours. Fuck,
we are
Sean.
actually.
We might have actually done it.
And it's been wall to wall bangers as well. That's the. There hasn't been a single duff joke. The Muffin Man episode, it's been relentless.
Okay,
start doing our own show.
Let's get...
Just because I'm having a nice time, it's not a dig.
I wonder why. I had a feeling. I don't know if you're listening. Well, I know you're listening, Matt and James, but I had a feeling all week that Sean was going, let's just do a 2-man show. I was thinking, he's eyeing something up here. He's lining it up.
There was definitely an element of I wanted to see if we could.
Yeah, and
which I think we've proven.
A 2-man show with James Farley or Matt Murray. Answer that honestly, Sean.
Oh yeah, no. Well, because do you remember that it nearly looked like I was going to have to do a show on my own this week at one point?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, do you know what? Fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Well, only because when you say nearly had to do one on your own, it's only because I got the wrong date that I was away.
Yeah. It briefly looked like I would have to do on my own. Yeah, no, I was just intrigued to see, just to see what it would be like, because I don't think we've ever done. Because I know Matt and James did one, just the two of them, years ago, didn't they?
Right. No, we've never done a 2-man show between me and you. Yeah. No, but I done it with James before.
Yeah.
That was fun. Michael Fox. Shout out Michael Fox. That's how I started, mate. It was a double act.
Of course. Yeah,
double act when I started, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, back to your roots.
Like every Sonic game that ever comes out. Should we get to questions?
Yes. If you would like to contact us, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS. Push button Joe says, Dear John Denton Fan Club, what is the worst start to a conversation? I don't listen to music. I only listen to video game music. Or I only listen to Rod Stewart. No, not any of the songs you know. I'd love the Rod Stewart one.
I would say the first one.
I don't know, because if you don't listen to music, like if music is genuinely not for you,
then I don't understand.
No, that is absolutely freakish. But I'd be like, well, that's just how they're wired, right? Whatever. But if you only listen to video game music, it's like, right, you enjoy music, but you haven't really bothered
thought
to
about it.
Yeah, you're not really investigated.
Yeah, but they thought about it more than the person that only listens to Rod Stewart but not any of the songs you know.
No, they've gone deep on Rod Stewart. They've gone right into
deep in Rod Stewart.
Yeah. Only B-sides. To be fair, I don't know many Rod Stewart songs, so it wouldn't be hard to catch me out on that one.
Look, I'm not I'm no oil painting, Sean.
Yeah.
But when women like go, "Oh, Rod Stewart," I'm like, it looks like a fucking scarecrow. What are you talking about?
He does. It looks like Wurzel
I don't
Gummidge.
understand. Yeah, it does look like Wurzel Gummidge. I don't understand. Have you ever seen him pick the balls out of a hat during a football talk?
I can't say I have. No.
Oh my god, it's incredible.
Yeah.
He was clearly off his face. I was completely hammered, and he did this thing. And I'm sorry for the people that are listening. I'll try and describe it. The balls are in front of him to pick, and what you do is you put your hand in, you like swirl the balls around, and then you pick a ball out. He lifted his arm directly up, turned it into sort of like an emu, and then dove into the thing and pulled it out. He's clearly fucking about, but yeah. Definitely search Rod Stewart football draw or whatever.
It does sound good.
Come up. It is good. It's almost as good as when Martin O'Neill was doing it the other day and he was picking the balls out and talking into the balls like they were a microphone. Number 14. And like the presenter went, "Why do you keep talking into the balls? That's really weird." Sorry.
That's
right. Where were we? It's clearly it's clearly
going with I don't listen to music. Okay.
No, it's got to be the Rod Stewart one. Because it's so serious.
It is quite, yeah. For all they know, you could also be a massive Rod Stewart fan.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
maybe they're like, no, if you were, I would fucking know.
I
right?
would know you. There's 8 of us.
I would know you from the forums. Yeah. Like, you weren't at the meet-up last week.
You weren't at the AGM.
Yeah.
You didn't contribute towards the bourbon biscuits. And we all know how much Rod loves his bourbon biscuits.
He fucking does.
You'd know if you'd heard his B song, Bourbon Biscuits are my favourite. Which is incidentally my favourite song from Rod Stewart that you wouldn't know because you haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's the Rod Stewart one, isn't it? By a mile.
I do love strange people, though. I genuinely do love strange people. Like if I was to meet someone in the office for the first time, and and they would go, "What are your hobbies?" And I go, "Well, I'm well into video games." And he goes, "Oh, well, mine's lawnmowers." I would be like, "Right, you're my new best friend in the office."
Yeah, 100%.
So maybe it's along that line.
I told you. I think I mentioned it on the show before. I was at a work thing, and we all had to introduce ourselves and talk about what our hobbies were. And then one guy was like, "I am really into bridges." You're right.
I took a sip of drink just as she said that.
Because at least if someone's into lawnmowers, you're like, well, obviously you use a lawnmower, right? That's like, it's like oh yeah, fuck it, I love getting the lawnmower out. I love mowing my lawn. You don't use a
bridge,
but you do. But how do you express a hobby? How do you express bridges as a hobby? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you're in the car and you go over a bridge. Are you not like
you
one
go,
of those
hey!
Because I fucking am. You go over a bridge in a car. You're like, oh look, we're on a bridge.
But that's what I mean. But we get that. So what does if you're an actual bridge hobbyist? What's additional to that?
Well, it's. Do you want? I assume it's down to the structural engineering of keeping a fucking bridge
and the
history.
And the
like,
history.
It's huge,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But and the tolls. But do you do that thing where you go through a tunnel and you got to hold your breath?
No.
Oh, we do. Right. So you.
Oh, right. So I thought you meant it was like some weird, like involuntary reaction. Like.
No. Me and Harry do it. Charlie doesn't. It's too young, and Joe just thinks we're fucking idiots whenever we do it. But if we go underneath a tunnel where we're driving, we go. And you've got to hold your breath until you get to the other end and you get out and then you let go, right? We do it every time. But I'm not getting any younger. And it is getting to the point where I just think, this is dangerous. I'm driving at 60 miles an hour. I'm driving at 70 miles an hour plus, 70 miles an hour tops. Holding my breath. Like, what if I just pass out? Like, how did this accident happen? My husband was holding his breath because we were going through a tunnel.
A funny game.
Well, why? I don't know. No, I've got time for bridges, man.
So that's our answer to Push Button Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Murray says, as I write this, it's 2:03 a.m. I may or may not be drunk.
You're drunk, Matt.
I did check the Oh yeah, it's Matt, isn't it? I did check the timestamp. It was like 2:15 a.m. They submitted this, so they're not lying. I may or may not have had to make the taxi driver stop twice so my partner could chunder at the side of the road. Listening to your podcast whilst pissed, I got to thinking, some weeks are slow, nothing good to play. In these dire times, how about discussions like best game of a certain year, best racer ever, most pervy game, scariest game? You get the idea. Love you all.
Cheers, Barry. You're trying to turn us into back page.
Yeah.
And I'm not liking it. Yeah.
No,
we got our own. Keen. We don't do any of that, and if we do, we'll fucking make you pay for it. Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, let's do it.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right. When it's slow, let's just do it.
But when was it? When was it last slow though?
Well, this week, Sean. What's the best game of a certain year?
Of a certain year?
Just answer the question.
Well, you need to say what certain year it is.
Whatever. Certain 2018.
2018? Fuck, what came out in 2018? I don't know.
Best racer. What's the best racer ever?
The best racer ever is Outrun 2.
Incorrect. Most pervy game.
Baldurs Gate 3.
Well, no, you're probably
recency bias.
Scariest game.
Oh, Fiendish Freddy's Big Top of Fun.
There you go, Murray. I hope you enjoyed that trip down memory lane. No, I suppose there is something to that. I'll tell you what it is, right? I do like the idea of a theme thing. My worry about the theme thing is that those things are usually very good for a certain amount of time, but then the ideas run out. You know, it's like a band releasing their 5th album. They've used up all the ideas they originally came into that band for, and now they're wondering what to do next. And so ours is about longevity, baby.
Yep.
We're gonna be doing this shit for years. There will always be news. There will always be feedback. But yeah, I do like that, and I'm thinking maybe we make some bonus content out of that shit. But I don't know. Yeah. I quite like our bonus shows where we just go, well, this is the shit I've got into this week.
Right. Cal says, Cowboys. I'm a born and bred Wyoming cowboy, and I was dazzled by your conversation about slapstick in Red Dead 1. You see, I'm currently working on fan fiction involving Dutch and Arthur and a tall, dark, mysterious train conductor. I wanted to add a little comedy to lighten the hot and heavy scenes on the train. Do you all have any slapstick tips for this little old... Right, now he's put little old sunset writer, but obviously he's American, so that's actually a good pun.
Rider.
If you say sunset rider.
Yeah.
Thank you much. P.S. Do you have to use so many cuss words?
Oh my God, Cole, you are absolutely right. Last week,
bad.
I don't know about you, I was outrageous. It was embarrassing. Like, honestly... I was cringing at myself last week. Absolutely cringing at myself listening back.
I didn't notice, but then I wouldn't, I suppose, because I'm the worst.
Yeah, no, it is a party now. You're absolutely right, Cole. And there would have been a time where I would have attacked you for that, like a few years back, because I was like, it's an adult show. But I listened to last week and I was like, that was outrageous. Pubis was put in the chat, you were showing off in front of Denton. You're probably right. You're probably right. But my swearing went off the charts last week, so I apologise for that. I will try and get that in check. Yeah. You see, I'm currently working on a fan fiction. Dutch wasn't in Red Dead 1, though, was he?
Yeah, he was. He's the baddie.
He was of course, he's the one. But you don't see him much, do you? You just see him right at the end.
Yeah,
he's
right at the end, and he's already in such a state. It's like...
Yeah,
it's not like a big showdown or anything.
Right. Isn't he hiding in a cave or something?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a spoiler. Yeah. Sorry.
Red Dead 1, I think that's allowed.
Good. All right. Well, we passed the test.
That's all right then.
I don't know. Have you got an answer to this?
Slapstick tips on a train. I don't know. Go through a tunnel and it's dark, and then you come out and everyone's switched places.
That's good.
Or someone's banged their head on a door frame. I don't know.
Someone leans out the window to have a look and then gets hit by a sign.
Oh, yeah. That would kill you, though. That's not really slapstick if your head comes flying off.
Most things in slapstick would kill you.
That's true.
Do you really think that cat is surviving any of that shit in Tom and Jerry?
It's true.
God, this is factually incorrect, David. Turn it off.
This cartoon's not realistic. As an aside, Isaac started getting into like Looney Tunes stuff, and I could not be happier. It's fucking great. Because for some reason, he only watches it. He only asks for it at my mum's, and then he comes back and he's like, "Oh, there's this big chicken guy." It's like a foghorn leghorn. He's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Oh yeah. Taz was my favourite growing up.
Yes,
and I look
100%.
back at it and go, actually, I don't know if he was the best. I mean, he was just the coolest, wasn't he?
Well, when it clearly appeals to like young boys because he's mental.
Well, you know why?
Go on.
Because he goes.
Yeah.
That's all we need.
That was the funniest shit.
Yeah, he did that noise. It sounds like a fart.
I can't. I need to. I'm going to show Isaac that in the morning. He's going to fucking lose his mind. Just that bit of the intro.
What, the Tasmanian Devil?
Yeah. But he will then start doing that all the time. And
I remember when I was a kid. This is weird. It's full circle. I remember when I was a kid, we had a Warner Brothers store in Kingston, I think it was.
Yeah, we used to have one in Chester. It was amazing.
They had a Tasmanian Devil watch, and it was silver. Fuck, I wanted that thing. I wanted that thing so bad. I think it was like 60 quid, which was, it might as well have been 14 grand.
Yeah.
Like when I was that age, it was never buying it. But I used to go, I used to walk in there just to look at it behind the glass.
Yeah, I remember I was just going and just look at all the cool merch, which, as you say, as an adult, you could go in and be like, I'll have that watch as a treat. Whereas at the time, it was like, well, I think my entire childhood of visiting the Warner Brothers store, I got like a keyring and a T-shirt, and that was it. Hard times.
Hard times indeed, my friend.
So what were we doing? Oh, Maria Mendieta.
I'm just googling Tasmanian Devil watches now to see if I can relive my youth.
Oh fuck! If you can get
you can't. I can't see it anywhere. It was like his face. I'm sure it was his face, and his mouth was open, and his teeth was gripping onto the watch bit. And it was a watch, and I was like, fuck, that looks cool. And I'll probably look at it now and just go, what was I thinking?
Tin bullshit. Maria Mendieta says, Dear TCGS Chocobo GP, while content creators celebrate them ironically, glitches in games could often be helpful to create shortcuts or simply glimpse behind the curtain. Thinking beyond the screen, what is a glitch you would love to experience in your day-to-day lives? Keep on setting the podcasting standard on a weekly basis.
Sometimes, when I'm just fed up, I wish I could just glitch through the floor and then just fly forever. Just look up and say, "That was the world I was in."
Yep. No, off we go. Yeah. Would glitching, be able to glitch through walls and stuff might be useful.
Oh god, yeah, it'd be well useful.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, how often a glitch is actually? I mean, item duplication would be great. Never have to go shopping again.
No,
just do one shop, and then
you never have to work again.
Well, and that.
You just get a £1 coin and just keep doing it.
You get one gold bar.
Yeah, there we go, Dave. Why don't you cash it in for a £50 note and then do it for that? I don't know. Can't be bothered. Here we go. Just glitching this. £1 coins growing up around me. Was it the DuckTales intro?
Yeah, Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, and then cars. And then also...
You duplicate a car? What? Just stick one in the garage for later?
No, I'll sell it. Take it to...
Okay.
I said it. I think we buy anycar.com. And they'll go, we just bought one of these from you. Yep. And it had the same number plate. Don't question it. just keep buying them.
Did I ever tell you about when I had a
this week
real life item duplication glitch? A friend of mine lent me a Radiohead EP, and I just forgot to give it him back for ages. And then after about a year or something, I was like, "Man, I keep forgetting. Here's your Radiohead CD." And he was like, "What are you talking about? You gave me back ages ago." I was like, "No, I didn't." And he's like, "Yeah, you did." I was like, "No, I haven't bought this. This is yours. There's no other way." I would know.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is when we were teenagers. When you bought things because it was a fucking special occasion. And he brought his copy of the CD into school to be like, "Here's mine." And we both stood there with with 2 copies of this CD, that as far as I was concerned, he'd given to me, and as far as he was concerned, I'd given him back. No
Time
explanation
travel.
for that.
Time travel.
Time travel. Yep.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
Or you just had 2 copies of the same CD. Because that's also possible.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Someone just bought it and he didn't. Yeah.
Or you just forgot that you bought it. Which
No, I think it's
Sean,
I think it's much more likely that it was actual magic, Dave.
I've had these arguments with Ian before. I've had these arguments with Ian where he said, "Isn't that weird that you mentioned that because this happened today? That's really weird, isn't it?" And I'll go, "No, it's just perfect. And we've probably seen the same TikTok video, and it's reminded us of something." No, it's not. It's weird. Okay, all right.
It's like they say when you bump into someone that you haven't seen for ages, and oh man, what a weird coincidence that we're both here. But apparently, if you knew about all the times you nearly bumped into someone that you know, the times you actually do are really insignificant.
How can you ever measure that?
No, I mean, you couldn't, obviously. But
sorry, completely shit on you. This is a video game podcast. Let's get on to
look it up on Snopes.com. James C says, "Hello.
Oh, yeah.
I completed Bug Snacks this week and wanted to remind myself what, if anything, you guys said about it, an exercise I complete with many games that I get to later. So I found the release date, 12th of November 2020, and scrolled back through the pod to see if it was discussed. Strangely enough, the episode uploaded on the 11th of November is the first one I have as completed. So I'm reminded that was exactly when I started listening to your show. I was 18 and was branching out into podcasts for my uni commute. So firstly, thanks for the years of entertainment on my commutes and dog walks. And secondly, what's a weird coincidence that resurfaced memories in your lives?"
Oh, God, we've just been talking about how I don't believe in coincidence.
Well. Did I tell you about the Earthworm Jim cows thing?
I think you have, yeah. But
I might have, but it's a good one. So I can't talk about my job for boring reasons, but I've mentioned it involves farmers. Working with farmers quite a bit, and I had an invoice.
He works with that. Who's that fucking Top Gear guy? It would have been funny if
Jeremy
Clarkson.
Yeah.
He's a partner with Jeremy Clarkson.
I actually do all the work. I actually run the farm. He just turns up and talks to the camera for a bit. I'm like, Jeremy, do you want me to do a bit to the camera this week? I do a podcast. He's like, nah. It's got an invoice. I can't remember. It's like a dairy equipment company or something. And initially I looked at it and the logo, and I was like, it's the fucking cows from Earthworm Jim 2. Like straight away. Not
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, so for those who don't know, Earthworm Jim 2, whenever you finish a level, there's this picture of these 3 cows in a field.
Yeah.
And you press the different buttons on the controller and they say well done at different speeds and pitches. And I was like, but so I was like, that's fucking cows from Earthworm Jim 2. And I was like, no, it can't be. That's ridiculous. Looked it up and I was like, literally holding this invoice up next to the monitor. Like, fucking hell. Obviously it's just a stock image, right? That has existed for 3 decades or whatever that the game used. And then
the game used a stock image, you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, they digitized it and they, made it look however they had to on a SNES or a Mega Drive, whatever.
Right.
And obviously animated the mouths going to go, well done. Like that. It was hilarious when you were 14. Yeah, so yeah, and I remember I was sending it to people, and they were just like, "Do you know how fucking mental that is? That you, not that it happened, but that you recognised it. That's weird."
That is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, the closest I can. I mean, can we? My one's bullshit.
Yeah.
Is I was once in a meeting with another David J. Turner. That was a bit weird. But he was a West Ham fan, so he was like evil me. That's about
Sliding doors moment.
Yeah, it was very weird. Yeah, do I tell this story? No, it's not even that funny. But yeah, I was in a meeting with that guy.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah. That's what I got for that.
Major Hazard says, I've played my first ever Zelda game. Never had a Nintendo console. I loved it. I want to play more Nintendo. What would you recommend? I'm thinking Mario Odyssey next. Is that a good idea?
Right, Mario Odyssey is incredible.
Yeah.
But
also, we don't know what Zelda game they've played.
Yeah. You've
That's
also got... Well, I assume it's Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So they said never had a Nintendo console. I assume they now have one.
Right.
Or they've played Zelda on the
well,
emulator.
Let's talk about playing Mario Odyssey next. So
yeah.
It's tough because that game is very unique, I think, in terms of Nintendo don't do other Zelda-like games, right?
Yeah.
So what are the big hitters?
And even within Zelda, there's so much variation there. Like it's not
Luigi's
like, oh well,
Mansion.
if you wouldn't say like, oh, if you enjoyed Tears of the Kingdom, go play Link to the Past. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. I mean, that's the. I think that's probably the next best game to try, Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey.
And all I'll say with Mario Odyssey is the difference between Mario Odyssey and Zelda is that Mario Odyssey doesn't get good until you completed it. Well, no, it's good, but you're kind of like, there's nothing to this. It's really easy, and I'm flying through to the end. But once you hit credits, that's when the game really becomes the game, and you've got to go for as many moons as possible. Aim for that 999 moons. That's where it's at. But yeah, that's probably... Because everything else is so different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you can't say, oh, if you like Zelda, go and play Animal Crossing. It's not,
it doesn't really work like that.
It's got the same sort of vibe.
Yeah.
Don't expect it to be anything like Zelda, and then you'll be all right.
I'm sorry, I was just Googling something to answer the next question, and I've failed to find the answer. So I'm just going to read it out anyway. Alan Williams says, guys, what's the code to join your fantasy football league? I don't know. I thought it was on our Linktree page.
You'd have thought Matt would have...
you would.
There's probably a couple of tweets out there. Go to our Twitter.
Matt, maybe he didn't do this, but it doesn't say Twitter anymore. It says TCGSX.
No. What, on our website?
Yeah, on our Linktree page, yeah.
Oh, God.
Matt. I mean, maybe it did that by itself. Who knows?
Matt.
Well,
I said... yeah, okay. All right, should we do... Oh, socials. I'll do socials.
Do socials?
Yeah, Thursday. Are you carrying on with your Far Cry 2 Prime permadeath stream, Sean?
So I think Far Cry 2's dead.
Oh, right.
But I'll do something else. I'll do something.
Okay,
we'll have a laugh.
Streaming on Thursday. Fridays, James is near.
Nope.
Twitch Prime Gaming. That's a thing. Get on that. Sign up and give us your sub. Patreon.com/TCGS is where you could go to support the show. If you want to do that really does help us out. And go to tcgs.co for everything else. If you want to find out about the show and that, and if you want to go
buy a t-shirt. Matt hasn't put my Zelda design up, has he?
Nope.
Do you think he secretly doesn't think it's very good?
Yep. Thank you so much for living it. We hope you've enjoyed this rather strange episode of the Computer Game Show. I cannot believe we've flown through and we're over 2 hours. I genuinely thought we'd be done by about an hour and a half. So here we are with a full ep for you. And next week I'm not here.
Yeah,
I'm not here next week, Sean.
We can say who's on, right? It's all confirmed. So it's gonna be me and Matt. Obviously, James isn't here. But yeah, Sarah Dyer is going to join us. It should be nice because it's been a long time since she's been on.
That's been a long time.
Looking forward to it.
It has been a long time. I do worry about that because Sarah and Sean LeBeau seem to be our regular, guests that we get on more than anyone else. And sometimes they sit there and go, oh, they've stopped asking. And it's like, no, it's not that at all.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's
yeah. And it was in the case of this episode, it was like, it was such short notice. Like you feel rude asking people.
Yeah, totally. I hate that.
When it gets to the point where it's like you're essentially messaging someone going, "You're not busy tonight, are you?"
Well, there's not only that, right? The thought process I get when I ask a guest on the day that we're recording is, firstly, are they thinking, "Oh, they think I'm just available"?
Yeah.
Secondly, they're thinking, well, they've asked other people. They can't make it, and now they've got down to me.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm instantly going, we get to a point where we just go, nah, it's not. Anyway, that's our process. We will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Take it easy this week. We love you all.
Ta-ra.
Goodbye.